What's up, y'all? BadNewsBrown. Let's talk a little politics since people been asking me. Now, how do I feel about the whole Trump sentencing? Well, really, it's smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors, y'all. In a way, it's a distraction. Really, when I think about it, honestly, smoke and mirrors. There's a lot more important things that need to be dealt with other than that. But this is nothing new. That's the name of the game. So, in one way, it's all a mirage. And in another sense, it's how it's played in politics, in American politics. Democrat, Republican. Most people will say that's two sides of the same coin or two feathers of the same bird. But I will say this because traditionally most of the common people, when we think of the people that's high up there, we kind of look of it as one group, when in reality it's not necessarily one group. There's groups of groups with similar and different interests. Now, oftentimes their interests intersect with each other, so it's all good. And a lot of times it doesn't. And that's what even led to the Civil War in the first place. And as you hear some of the things that Trump speak on, whether he's true or not, or he intends on actually doing it or not, it's kind of having the same ring to me when he talk about the Constitution. And FYI, the Constitution has been overthrew. A lot of people will say that. Well, I ain't gonna say overthrew, but a lot of politicians and policymakers done found ways to kind of sidestep the Constitution, and then on the other end they'll get us to agree with something that we're not aware of, but essentially we giving up all our rights. So it's a lot of talk about that. I'm kind of sensing for Trump. But again, like I said, these are just basically high-level successful enemies. Some of them are colleagues with each other, some not. Remember, like I said, there's multiple groups. And I don't even want to say they taking the gloves off, because this is nothing new again. Even though they say Trump is the first ex-president to get convicted of a felony, he's definitely not the first to get ran through the ringer. Hell, they had assassinated presidents, so it can get real up there. It's not all a mirage to that extent, but again, it is, because it's entertainment to me. It's just high-level entertainment, although them particular actors, they really talking about real interests when it comes to politics. That's real money, that's real resources that they bidding and fighting over. But as far as the whole Trump thing, now, do I believe he should be able to run for president? I guess. I don't necessarily really care, although personally, like I said, I don't it's two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways. So I may have some interest that's liberal, I may have some that's conservative. So it all really depends. I'm all for pro-wealth and proper distribution of the resources in America, as opposed to funneling the money under the guise of wars or foreign aid up into their coffers. So yeah, I'm definitely for getting ours. So, but I know honestly, that ain't gonna be the show way. But the burden of proof is on them. So hey, that's their job. So hey, let's see if they actually gonna do their job when it comes to that. But again, I don't too much like to play that game. You know, I vote for me, and I would like to get me, myself, my family, my community in a situation to whereas regardless of who's in office, prosperity is still being carried out. It's still being grown. It's still being, homegrown prosperity. No different than the average Chinatown. So it's definitely a method to the madness. But yeah, I was just kind of answering the question. A few people hit me up like, man, why you ain't mention this yet, or why you ain't mention that? But it's been a few talking about this Trump thing because I know a lot of people want me to go in. They really want me to go full throttle in, and I will, but I'm going in enough, slowly but surely. But again, two sides of the same coin. But again, they're talking about real wealth. So we need to have a say so in that. So we need to, this is my opinion, y'all. I would think like a Republican in terms of ownership and building wealth. And I don't mean it by exploitation, although I'm talking about handling business. And I think democratic in terms of course, equal rights, of course, food, clothing, shelter to every man, woman, and child. But if a lot of people in my community, in my opinion, this is my opinion, thought more wealth and ownership as opposed to handouts, we'll be in a better position, and then we won't even need the handouts. And then we'll be able to provide jobs for each other, and then essentially help the economy as a whole. And that would make America great. Because it ain't no again, but America great for the first time. Now, great for whom? Now, of course. Now, somebody that look like me, you know. But again, I'm just saying, don't fall for the okie doke. So, I mean, did he go to jail? And some people like, it's kind of, it lets you know, here he is convicted of a felony. Now, if it was me and who or anybody else, damn well been able to rerun for president. So it just lets you know how the game is played. How much freedom can you afford? Who do you know? Sometimes, a lot of times, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. And a lot of us already know that. And again, he's a whole, of course, Trump on a whole nother level, all them. So they tend to get away with red rum, anytime. So again, none of that surprised me. But it's just, like I said, rich on rich violence. That's how I look at it. Rich on rich violence. No different in a way with the whole P. Diddy situation. Once you get to that certain level, or any level, of course, at that level, it's more money and resources and more reputational. So they gonna pull your dirt out there. And no different out here on a regular level, on a surface level. It's the same way in a way. So nah, the shit don't surprise me, and I don't really think too much of it, to be honest with y'all, because it's not really making no difference necessarily. So again, now you asking me who am I voting for? Again, I don't too much participate, and I haven't really thought of it yet. And that should prompt a politician, man, give me an offer I can't refuse. What are you gonna do for me in my community, in my peers, for my vote. I'm not just voting blindly. If I decide to vote, well, best for sure I'm voting on me. You ever play roulette? Always bet on black. BadNewsBrown breaking this shit down real quick for y'all, man. Just kind of letting y'all know what's on my mind regarding this whole politics and Trump. And of course, I can go in like a lot of people know I could. It may even be expecting me to, but not really in this video. I ain't really necessarily exposing, pulling the mask over the beast in this video. You know, I gotta tactically do it a little different this time around. But the information is always out there. So it ain't nothing new again, y'all. It ain't nothing new. But